Hello friends, time to walk once again, walking with Beau. I am going to be heading up a route I walked earlier this spring. We'll go back there. A place you've seen before, nothing special. It is warm today, a little humid. I am going to sweat a little bit. But that's okay. I was actually feeling a little chilly inside the house with the AC on. So it's good to get out of the house and go for my daily 5 mile. So we have some crazy polls going on. So anyway, we're going to go on our walk. As you can see, this is a busy road. Right. Don't really have a whole lot to talk about today. Nothing of any significance. Politics is kind of like evening off a little bit, I guess. This is that period of time that I was talking about where we're going to be waiting for the dust to settle between the assassination attempt and Joe Biden dropping out. Thanks for stopping. Kamala Harris. She was not a likable candidate before. I honestly don't believe they're going to be able to distinguish her and distance her from Biden's policies, because she is still the vice president, right? And she's the vice president on the Biden/Harris ticket. And Biden's policies are unpopular. He's unpopular. And I don't understand how she can possibly distance herself from that, even with media coddling, which she'll get. So basically the media is already pitching in her defense. They're trying to say that she was never made the border czar, so the border problem isn't her issue. But again, it's the media getting caught lying. There's actually a video clip of Biden appointing her as border czar. So 2021. So we gotta wait for all that dust to settle. She is still going to have her policies brought up. It's unavoidable. She was a prosecutorial district attorney, prosecutor in San Francisco. She locked up many black people and people of color for pretty extended periods of time. She went on a really tough on crime spree and a lot of minor drug offenses. She locked them up, black people. And what I've noticed on the internet is when you bring anything like that up, you're automatically a racist now because she's black. So the media, whoops, stepped in a hole. The media is pivoting towards criticize Kamala for anything and you're a racist. But we already knew that was going to happen. So those are key words for they don't have any of our policy that's good to talk about. People will sort through that. They'll figure it out. This is that brief kind of like honeymoon period I was talking about with getting Biden out of there. Everybody's like, oh my God, they're so happy Biden's out. Anybody but Biden. So that's going to wear off eventually to some degree. I don't think you're going to see a big, huge polling difference. But I did see something encouraging on the internet today. One of the monetized big blue check marks with a couple million followers, okay, made a poll, and they told people to be very serious. You had a choice of RFK, Kamala, or Trump. Who would you vote for today? And Trump was doing 72% of the vote after a couple 100,000 votes. And it's a very extremist liberal account too, so I don't know what that means. But when you look at the general election polling done by these polling companies, it just doesn't feel right. It's not jiving right. It just isn't. I just can't picture Trump only having a 2-point lead on Kamala when he had a 6 or 7-point lead on Biden. She's not that popular. I mean, granted, she's still behind. Even in the honeymoon thing, she's still behind. But, you know, it just doesn't jive. It doesn't feel right. And I don't think it is. I mean, we had the assassination attempt. You know, these are new polls that are coming out this week, post-assassination attempt. And keep in mind, Biden announced stepping down Sunday. Hasn't even been a week yet. It's like 5 days. So also, the real polling isn't going to show up until after the debate in September, which I believe the debate is scheduled for September 11th. I wonder what other big event happened on September 11th. So you already know when they have that debate that they're going to mention January 6th, comparing it to September 11th. You already know that. I think it's planned. And coincidentally, I think Trump's sentencing was sometime in September. I thought it was going to be September 18th. But now I'm not seeing an exact date. But for some reason, I remember September 18th. So I have to wait and see on that. We'll see. As you can see, it's rush hour almost. I really like how that gray looks on those cars. I really do. Don't like it on pickup trucks, but I like that on vehicles. I would love to have a new Mustang and look like that color. Now these are the old late 70s, early 80s gas pumps that don't work, but it's outside the Weed Mart. It's kind of cool. They could actually film an episode of The Walking Dead here. There's probably a lot of places like this around the country that look like it would be old and unused. So we're gonna walk on. So we are in uncharted territory as far as politics go, and I can't imagine, I can't imagine Kamala Harris doing very well. And it's because she's still the vice president. She's still tied to Biden and the policies and the job they're doing in the White House. And the American people are not happy with the job being done in the White House. So I don't understand how Trump could be so unpopular that he's only 2 points ahead of Kamala. I just don't see it. I don't get it. Moving that garage door opener thingamajigger out of the way. At least that's what I think it was. As you can see, it's a beautiful kind of summer day today. A little cloudy, which is nice, or else I'd really be roasting today. So right now, I don't understand the polling. And I've looked at it. I've looked at the numbers. That's not what I'm not understanding. Is the problem I'm having, it's the same people doing the polling that always do the polling. Ipsos, even the Rasmussen poll. Rasmussen has Trump ahead 7 points. And I think that's more accurate. I really do. The other ones, they're trying to keep the polling close to give Kamala a boost and some legitimacy in fighting as a legitimate contender against Trump. It just feels like these polls are being skewered. Because the scenarios before Biden stepped down with Kamala, okay, these are polls with Kamala. They were Trump running away with it once you filtered in RFK, and Kamala was not that popular. Why is she more popular now after Biden stepped down? It doesn't make sense to me. Some of it is the honeymoon thing. They're happy Biden's gone, but Kamala's gonna have a whole crap ton of money. That's all I'm saying. She has access to Biden's money. And in fact, I believe the Kamala campaign was siphoning off $91 million off of the Biden war chest. And I think the Trump campaign filed a complaint with the FEC, which they should. And also, I'm going to be watching the Democratic convention. I don't really expect anything too big to come out of that. I think it's going to be Kamala Harris for sure. She'll be the candidate. It's not what the voters want. But as I've said a million times, the DNC gets what the DNC wants. voter, 14 million Democrat voters are being disenfranchised. And from what I've seen, they're not happy about it. I saw that panel on MSNBC with Democrat voters. They're not real happy with that. They don't feel like Kamala has earned it. And they seem to be upset that she knew about Biden's health issues, because that's obvious. And despite the media saying that's not the case, they don't believe it. They think Kamala knew and did nothing about it. She hid it from the public. She didn't do what was best for the country. And the White House is trying to say that's not why Biden stepped down. And everybody knows that's BS too. So I think a lot of these Democrat voters haven't factored into those polling yet. They're not happy. They're not. Young people are. Young people are. They didn't like Biden because he was old, and they hate Trump. So the young Democrats What the hell is that all about? Why is there a car stopped in the middle of the road? Oh, it's an intersection. What the hell's all the beeping going on? What's with the beeping? So I can't digest, I just cannot digest that Kamala is as popular as the polls are saying this week after Biden stepped down. And it bugs me because I think it really bugs me because I said that's what would happen. They're very predictable. That whole machine now is going to be out there fluffing Kamala, and the media is going to go after Trump big time as a racist, but they're not going to use the Hitler stuff and because of the assassination attempt, so that's good. But there's other ways to dehumanize people. They're going to bring up the E. Jean Carroll thing, say he sexually assaulted her, which the civil suit says he did do that. But I don't believe that either, because 30 years later, she can't remember where, when it happened. It's like that friggin' fool that was testifying against Kavanaugh again, Blasey Ford. All they needed was corroborating witnesses, which I'm sure they got a nice payment out of it. There's no way to prove they didn't. Yeah, I remember her telling me about that 30 years ago. There's no way to prove that she didn't. Civil lawsuits, you don't have to do a beyond reasonable doubt. Beyond all reasonable doubt. It's not even beyond reasonable doubt, it's beyond all reasonable doubt. Has to be ironclad evidence and proof of guilt. And that didn't happen in that case. And the one in New York for the conviction, paying off a porn star, which is an FEC violation, according to what the judge said was an FEC violation. He didn't let the FEC expert testify, and he said it was not a crime. So they falsified a crime in the trial, and that case is going to be overturned. Make no mistake about that. So they just wanted that for the election cycle, to call him a convict. Trump is up with black voters, which is the other number I saw this week that I don't believe either. That Kamala is doing so good with black voters. They don't like her. I've been seeing a lot of black women that are absolutely said they're not voting for her. I saw 3-4 of them say they were going to vote for RFK. They don't like Trump either. So, you know, you got to figure that factor in as well. That's just the way it is. I mean, it isn't just Trump versus Kamala. There seems to be some argument. The left is trying to say that RFK in there hurts Trump, and I know it doesn't. I've already seen those polls before Biden dropped out. It was helping Trump a lot. So nothing right now is honest. I think the Rasmussen poll, they've been really tough on Trump at times. And they have Trump at 7% ahead. I believe that. Because that's what it feels like. You know, I'm not feeling vibes that Kamala is loved. And I'm not seeing Trump hated as much as he was before either. That's the other thing I've noticed ever since the assassination attempt. And nobody's polling for the assassination attempt. I haven't seen a poll that says because Trump was almost assassinated, has your opinion changed on how you're going to vote for him? I'd like to see a poll like that. I don't think it'll be that glaringly different, to be honest, but I'd still like to see it. Nobody's asked it. And then you have polls among registered voters, which is the other thing about polls. Sometimes they poll people that aren't even registered to vote and they're not going to vote. I'm interested in likely voters and registered voters. The other thing I've noticed is, and not talked about very much, oh, that's an old Range Rover. Other things not talked about very much are the polling among registered voters in swing states. The good news is even with them freshly installing Kamala and his new enthusiasm, Trump is still leading in the swing states. And an interesting point was made today that's true. Oh, we'll get some hay bales going somewhere. Is that in 2020, Biden and Kamala had a 20-point lead among young people, the youth vote. The youth vote has abandoned the Biden-Harris ticket in droves, okay? And Trump has picked up a lot of young votes. I saw 2 polls today that tried to say the young people were favoring Kamala, when last week they weren't. So these are obviously fake numbers. The real numbers are, young people, Biden and Harris had a big advantage in 2020. 21 points. Right now, Kamala has 9 points. So they have lost 12 points off of where they were in 2020. Biden alone as a candidate was even worse. He was down to 5%. So she didn't turn the tables on the young vote. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is the national popular vote. And why that's important, because Trump is leading in the swing states. So if you extrapolate that and look at the national popular vote, Trump was not getting the national popular vote in 2020. He was a point or 2 under. Right now, he's 2 points over. And that's going to grow, okay? I don't see this race tightening up. It's been basically the same numbers with Kamala. She's getting a boost right now because Biden stepped down. And I think after the first debate, where she's going to be discussing policy, and she's going to spend the whole debate insulting Donald Trump, calling him a convict and rapist and racist and And I hope Trump just talks about policy and lets her do that. The last debate with Biden, he didn't even mention tax on tips. He did a good job with other stuff, but he needs to mention no tax on tips. He needs to mention that. It's very important. So as you can see, we got a whole bunch of ragweed growing. Some people hate the pollen from those. I'm not bothered by it, thankfully. But as you can see, it's summertime. We went through here when there was no leaves on the trees, if you remember. A whole bunch of flying grasshoppers flopping around. So the numbers are going to settle down and be more realistic. Right now the Democrats are fundraising. That's all they care about right now. Which is a smart move because they're going to need it. Beware of the dog. Oh, Trump sign. Got a Trump sign. Trump sign. That's something we saw a lot of around here in 2020. There's a lot of Trump signs around. For Maine, this is Trump country. Congressional District 2, or better known as ME2 as well. Looks like a lot of hay out in this field. They'll mow all that down and bale it up. A lot of hay. This is that same stretch on a previous walk where we saw the maple trees being tapped with buckets for maple syrup, or will end up being maple syrup, tree sap. You can see why I like walking out this way. It's a little ways up the road from our ranch, the Bat Cave, but it's reachable. All right. We'll see if the llamas are out. $5 a bundle for camp wood. Right over there is where usually we see the llamas. Might not be out today. I don't know how they fare in hot weather. I understand they do pretty well in cold weather because they're usually where they're native from. I think they're alpacas. Are they alpacas? I think they're alpacas, not llamas. Or are they both the same thing? I have no idea. I'm not a freaking alpaca expert. I think they're alpacas. Anyway, they got a pen in there that they're in sometimes, but they're not out today. Oh well. I wanted to get a shot of them. I wanted to see the alpacas. Roof. Roof, roof. Swampy looking water over there. Looks like water levels are getting low. Towards the end of the summer, if we don't get a lot of rain, you get a lot of people out here that have well water some places, especially in Sabattis and Green. Their wells will get low. Hello friends, it's Beau here. As you can see, I'm walking. Pretty warm today, I'm sweating pretty good. But anyway, I usually don't selfie stream. I just wanted to come on here and say hello. And thank you for walking with me. I hope you enjoyed the walk. It's a nice neighborhood. This is around where we live, and I've already seen a Trump sign, so we'll probably see some more of those as time goes by, because we do see the Trump signs the last time in the election, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of them this year. So, it is beautiful today, as you can see. Coming up on 2.5 miles. And so anyway, I mainly just wanted to thank you for watching and walking with me. Click like and subscribe if you like my walks. And absolutely beautiful out here, as you can see. I still got a ways to go. Definitely have my 5 miles in today, and I hope you find it enjoyable. So have a good week, and like I said, don't pay too much mind to the current polling between Kamala and Trump. It's going to be probably till the first week of September before stuff starts settling down. Things could happen too. I was thinking about this earlier today, that Kamala is not going to be able to lose the border czar label she got because Biden said it and appointed her in 2021. They announced it to the press and everything, so they can't deny it. The media is trying to say that's not exactly true, but it is. So if sometime between now and the election, if there's a terrorist attack because the border was open, it's absolutely all over for Biden and Kamala both. They will go down, they'll circle a drain on that. I hope to God nothing happens. I'm just saying, if something does, or if you see an uptick in crime from migrants, which the media is going to do their best not to report because Kamala's the candidate. So that's the other problem. So they're going to have the full force of the media machine protecting everything because they have to beat Trump. They have to get rid of him. So anyways, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching, and take care. Remember to vote. You got to vote. Very important. All right. Switched off from the selfie stream. Let's see how many miles. My memory serves correctly, I should be almost at 2.5. That's funny because where I'm walking right now was 2.5 miles before, and now it's 2.45. So it's whatever GPS says this day, according to my satellite network internet. I'm not using Wi-Fi, which is more accurate. I use Wi-Fi at home, but not when I'm out and about. So we'll walk until it says 2.5. Then I'll turn around and we'll do 2.5 back, and that'll be 5 miles. So, all right. We just hit 2.5. I'll cross over and I'll head back. See that? I got it. I got it. So the other interesting thing that happened, and I agree with this, I really have no idea why Republicans can be the stupidest people on the planet. I really hate to admit that because I'm a Republican, but it's pretty sad when the Speaker of the House has to send a letter out to other congressmen to stop talking about DEI. In reference to Kamala Harris. So stop talking about women suck, okay? Don't do that. It's not going to help. Kamala Harris is a woman. Trump is a womanizer, according to whoever, you know. It's not going to help Republicans by being anti-woman, okay? Plus she's black, so it's pretty sad when the Speaker of the House has to tell the Republicans to stop being racist. So don't do that. Whether she is a diversity hire or not doesn't really matter. Okay, we got more important things to talk about. Like the economy and like the economy and things. I guess there's a white dog that was chasing after me. Looked like a puppy. The puppy saw somebody to play with and they were coming out to chase after me, and she flagged the dog down. So anyways, yeah, we got to be smart in this election. Leave the abortion issue alone unless Democrats bring it up, and leave the woman talk alone, the racial talk. Win on policies, okay? Policies. They don't have any. They really don't. They're all about DEI and equality and all that. That's when you attack them on that. Just don't specifically go after Kamala or anybody else personally, I guess is what I'm saying. And so the point is Republicans really shouldn't have to be told that. That should be common sense. So now, the other thing I don't like that really the media hasn't talked about, because it makes Biden look weak, is Russia and China flew bombers very close to Alaska. And the United States actually scrambled. I think they were possibly testing out America's awareness, and given the friggin' balloon incident earlier last year or earlier this year, it's not surprising. I can tell you that Chairman Xi in China is not a stupid person. He's not a stupid person. Putin's not either. And just for your information, Ukraine's not going to win that war. They're not. So NATO is going to be forced to go in there, and then we're going to have real problems. Or NATO can just say, well, okay, we lost, and just let Putin have that parts of Ukraine that he's taking. All I know is the world cannot afford this, financially or safety-wise. Well, it turned out to be a nice day for a walk. This ain't bad. Wish I would have seen the alpacas. And they got a whole fenced in area over here. I want to see. I've only seen them out here a couple times. I didn't get good camera shots. Just hit 3 miles. This is a nice pen over here, isn't it? All fenced in. I'd love to see them out here. So they got that little place that comes out of the barn. There's a gate right there. And then they can go in here. They can go in there and frolic. Frolicking alpacas. Not today. Nice view. I like it anyways. Oh, nice breeze. I got a nice breeze. can hear random acorns falling, crashing down through the leaves. You can see little acorns once in a while. Deer food, squirrel food. Nature's feeding the little critters. Snowmobile crossing sign. Good deer crossing, snowmobile crossing, no ATVs allowed. Got all kinds of signage here. This is that stuff I was telling you, it looks like bamboo that would grow and block our view of that river, which it has. Not really a river, it's a brook. I can hear it. I can hear the brook babbling. I think we used to call this bamboo because we saw what we called Japanese beetles in it, which were actually probably Chinese beetles. Asian beetles, how's that? We'll cover everybody. Water is really low. Water is very low right now. And if I remember right, up ahead here, my battery's gonna start beeping at me. I'll just change it up ahead here. I hear a car coming. I'll step off to the side here. Oh, the breeze feels really nice because I'm all sweaty. Oh yeah. Oh yes, I needed that. I don't know what that sounds like to you. It's blowing right into the mic, but that feels really good. Alright, I think I'll switch batteries out right here. I'll switch these be right back with a fresh battery. All right. All right, now that we changed that over, got a fresh battery. Between probably about 3 3/4 miles right now. All right. Make sure nobody drives into me. And I always make sure I got traffic coming towards me, as I've said a million times to you. Can't stress how important that is. Some people feel uncomfortable with it. They don't want people to look at them. But it's the safest thing to do. If you put the cars at your back and you can't see them coming, you'll end up getting Stephen King'd. He's lucky he wasn't killed. Alright. Guy's out there spraying weed killer. He's killing his weeds. He's a weed assassin. I'm getting a little thirsty. Got a hammock right here. That's funny. Good place for one. Got two good trees. Kind of close to the road though. We used to have a hammock, and we don't have one anymore because the two trees that they went between are gone. Just hit 4 miles. Stay off to the side here. Oh, some more nice breeze. That feels so good when you're hot and sweaty. Oh my goodness. When I'm walking and it's humid and it's not windy, I will look down and my arms will actually physically be coated with sweat. Right now they're dry, for the most part. Oh, there's one of these cool little buggies. I'll rephrase that. I don't know how cool that is, but it is a little buggy. Just had one of them biting bugs land on me and I smacked them off before it bit me. All right. Yeah, I'm getting a little cotton-mouthy right now. I intentionally did not drink a lot of water before my walk because I didn't want to have to go to the restroom. I hate that. But I'll get back, have something to drink. Definitely rush hour right about now. Don't like having these cars at my back. Makes me nervous. Looks like this place went out of business. That's what it looks like to me. There's an oversaturation of marijuana dispensaries here, and I think from what I've read online about them in Lewiston here, is a lot of them end up going out of business. So there has to be some kind of incentive, maybe a government program or something, and the business doesn't work out. Maybe they're getting high on their own supply. So, if anybody needs a gravestone, they sell them right there. How much for the blank ones? I'll really pull a funny one on people. I'll have a blank one put as a grave marker for me. I'll just be the man with no name and nobody, just like real life. Four and a half miles. That was a big, thick dog. Didn't look like it was too anxious to jump up in the truck. Yeah, so a lot of the polls when Biden was polling with Trump, I didn't believe those numbers either, even the bad ones. It just felt like it was worse. Just can't imagine people are going to support California politics, extreme socialist, far leftism, mutilating your kids and all this other stuff, that's what they're promoting. Kamala supports that. So, complete gun bans. She supports gun registrations, assault rifle bans. You know, she supports all that stuff. She's California, so she is the most far-left candidate this country has ever seen. And I just don't believe Americans are going to elect her. I just don't. Because if they do, it's going to be really bad, folks. You need to know that. This country will be gone forever and we're not going to recover. 15, 20 years from now will be worse than Canada. The elections will be rigged. Kamala wants to get rid of the filibuster. This is what can happen if they get rid of the filibuster in the Senate. This is no joke, all right? Listen up. Nationwide assault rifle bans. Federalized elections. Term limits for the Supreme Court. Very strict ethics on the Supreme Court. So anybody that's on the Supreme Court that's a Republican will get impeached and removed. You'll no longer need the 60-vote threshold. You get rid of the filibuster. You'll just need a simple majority vote. They'll add Guam as a state. Probably the Virgin Islands too. And they will also add Puerto Rico. That will give the Democrats 6 more senators to solidify their route. They're going to get rid of the Electoral College. They're going to amend the Constitution to get rid of the Second Amendment or severely hamper it. They'll change the First Amendment to include hate speech. They're basically going to destroy everything that we know and love. And there's too many Americans that aren't going to let that happen. They'll try their best with the ballot box first. And if that doesn't work, well, I don't know what to tell you. Gloves are off. Nobody's going to destroy this country with a nod of the head doing nothing about it. So the Trump assassination attempt, it just looks like incompetence by the local police department more than anything. Incompetence by the Secret Service for not back checking and making sure things were okay. Communication failures. Similar to when 9/11 happened, you had interdepartmental communication wasn't there. And that caused more problems. And that's what happened here. It turns out that the police sniper that was in that window overseeing that rooftop left his post to go look for the kid. That was the shooter. Because they were short-handed. He was helping out. Then the ones that were supposedly outside, it was hot that day and they went inside to enjoy air conditioning. So it was a comedy of errors. It's not a big conspiracy, I guarantee you. It was one shooter. Thankfully, he was a novice. He wasn't very good at shooting. Because he really was not a difficult shot. It just wasn't. So anyway, I would not mind if President Trump just did indoor rallies for the rest of this election cycle. I know he likes the outdoors ones. They look nice. They've got a vibe all their own. But, you know, indoors you can cover everything a lot easier. For one thing, people can't get in the building with a weapon. It just isn't going to happen with indoor ones. And they didn't get in on the outdoor one either. But anyway, Thank you for walking with me. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, everybody. Make sure you carry legally, an everyday carry. More importantly, train with it. Be confident with what you're doing. And stay safe and take care of one another. Have a beautiful, beautiful day today. Bye-bye, folks.